I'm Stella Markert. I'm the director of Thanks for Nothing, and the movie is about 4 girls who live in a shared space in a social apartment. I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure about the English description of it, but they are living without their parents, I want to say, and they're friends, and each of them has their own problem world. But we're focusing on Katharina mostly, who is. She doesn't want to grow up. She doesn't want to be older than 18, and she's trying to kill herself, and the other girls are trying to protect her from doing so. But it's a comedy, which I always add at the end. Then it makes it really weird, but it is a funny movie.
It's supposed to be funny, yeah, it is funny. And my name is Edgar. I'm one of the cinematographers.
What inspired you to write this story and make the film?
Growing up in Berlin, I felt like there wasn't much representation of European coming of age in a way. So that's a genre I'm very interested in. But also, we spoke about this yesterday in the Q&A also. When I was a teenager, there was so much romanticization of sad women happening, like sad teenagers, like Effie Stoneham or Kirsten Dunst in Virgin Suicides, and it was always kind of cool to be sad and weak and mysterious in a way. And I kind of wanted to rip the blanket away from this romantic fantasy of being sad. Because growing up, you realize that's so stupid, and it's kind of a weird thing that feeling weak makes you more attractive, So I put that in context with Katharina as a main character, and then her 3 friends who are trying to make her realize that life's worth living, right? And so that's how I started. And then also obviously youthful rebellion and parents or grown-ups not taking you seriously as a teenager, although you have very serious problems. And I think all this came together, and that's how how the movie was made.
So do the characters have depression, or is it that they want to have depression in a way?
That's an interesting question. It doesn't really get answered. It's the Katharina she's just very into death. She's romanticizing it. She's going to the graveyard a lot. She's she just likes the thought of it. And I think it has, we never really explain it. There are definitely signs that it's leading towards depression, but I think it's more of the outside world and how she wants to be received than what's inside. And as she's a very mysterious character, there's it's hard to know where it's actually pinpoint, where it's coming from.
So it is dark comedy in a way, but it has a very realistic touch. So a big discussion was about how to capture this mostly realistic but still provide a certain kind of a humoristic touch to the big imagery, but still that the audience feels connected to it. And we both felt that mostly handheld shots or getting close to the camera and having a really nuanced image language would prove that, because the film already 4 girls, so many characters, so much going on in this movie, which is beautiful. So we always want to take a step back with the cinematography, so nobody gets distracted by big pictures, big crane shots or something, or technical stuff. So we reduced it, and also with the lighting, we only mostly did available light, and to capture this certain kind of realistic approach to the whole movie. Yeah. Okay. And then we have this flashback scenes where we get told about the story behind the 4 characters, and this is where we kind of a little bit went off that way and tried to fake imagery which we knew from our holidays back in the 90s when we with family vacations pictures.
We used the lens that made everything sharp, right? The background and the foreground. And that reminded us as pictures when we were children and how we remember things. Yeah. And that's the lens we chose for the flashbacks. And those are much more still.
Yeah, much more.
Yeah, while the real time story is shot very lively and from hand camera. No, not at all. You know, it's not really a minimal film. Although it sounds like we're being really realistic, you know, the people in the film are very much over the top, and they like to be the colorful spots in a very gray world, you know. So their rooms are very colorful and everything's very lively. And we contrasted that with our camera work, but not in a like realism way. It's hard if you haven't seen it. But it's the music is very funny as well, and sometimes obviously sad. We put so many songs inside. I'm lucky to have a sister who knows me very well, and she's a musician, so she composed the whole score and tracks as well. And
what's she called, your sister?
my sister's called Rosalie Luna. And she's a great musician. You should check her out.
Yeah,
really, honestly.
Does she live here? London?
No, she doesn't. She lives in Berlin. Yeah, just like us.
Yeah.
Nice. I love Berlin.
The whole soundtrack is on Spotify.
Yeah, the whole soundtrack is on Spotify. You should listen to
What's
it.
it called? Track or the name of the?
It's just, I think, Thanks for Nothing official soundtrack. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And the sound design, what did you do with that?
Sound design, we were working with Daniel Fehl, who is a really great sound designer from our university. You know, we didn't say that. That movie is like our graduation film. So we met in university, and this is our student project. And and we're very happy that it had this journey, although we started with a small team of very young people in Berlin. And Daniel is one of them, and we met him in university as well, and he's really talented and patient and great and organized everything. Although post-pro was all over the place, he always kept a very cool head and so creative with it all. And I think for Daniel it was very important to capture the city life and the city sounds, because that's what makes it special. They're always on the street, they're always running around outside, and they live on a big street. We shot mostly in eastern parts of Berlin, in Prenzlauer Berg, and you have, as it was two cities before. For example, in the eastern part of the city, you have a tramway, how you would say, the trains going on the street, and you don't have that in West Berlin. In West Berlin, you have buses, for example. So it was important to be very specific about where we're located in, and just add it to the whole Berlin city fever. We had a very tough schedule, and the most of my directing would take place before we shot. So I would meet each of them separately and just talk through the whole character development and each scene and what they're feeling and what's going through their mind right now. So on set I could use trigger words to remind them of what we were speaking about. And this helped us a lot to be quicker, and thankfully they are they just have so much more experience than we do, because they're all started acting very early, and they're all TV show actors, and they just know continuity and everything. So that was amazing for our time schedule, and also for me. And a lot of times we only did one take because we didn't have more time to do anything. So I guess that was really it, to have all the discussions about the character beforehand, and then be flexible during the shoot and react and just work until you get what you have. And a lot of fun, as this movie has a very specific high structure. You can't really switch things around too much, so the chronology of things was very much set in the beginning. But we had some trouble with the genre of the film, as it starts out a bit dark and then evolves into a funny comedy. It was hard to define this transition without being tasteless, and finding this fine line. And as the movie has chapters, so we start with Katharina, who is a very tragic, mysterious person. So starting out with her, and with her in the beginning, one of her suicide trials was quite rough, and then it becomes lighter towards the movie. And it took us a long time to figure out the beginning. And I think, like, honestly, probably 70% of the whole editing time was the first 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
The rest was quite quickly in place. The tone was set. It worked out really fine, nicely. But yeah, you know. And then also, there's, like, post-production is so interesting because then all the opinions, like, are being made. Like, you have lots of people who have much more experience than you do, and then they are trying to explain to you what would be best for your film, and you're trying to keep your vision and keep your, I don't know, your style, or like your voice in a way. And that was hard to do as a first-time director, mostly speaking to older men, although this movie is for younger women, right? So this was, sometimes I had to tell them that maybe I'm the expert and not them, you know? So I guess that was like what made the post-production a bit more complicated, but in the end everybody was very happy and supportive. It worked in the end, yes.
And is the message in your film that there's hope, that life is worth living?
Yes, definitely. I think...
Is that how audience members, people who watch your film...
Yeah, I think hope is exactly the right word. People come out and they're very hopeful, which I'm happy about because, yeah, as we said, it starts out quite depressing. And it is a movie that is very fun to watch, but also very heartbreaking. And in the end, it's about friendship, and it's about... you know, all of them, we always say it's a staying-of-age film, not a coming-of-age film, because they don't want to grow up. And then they kind of learn that if you grow up with the right people around you, then actually growing up is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So I guess it is a very hopeful message.